wake up and no plans to stop. Tech news, hot takes, and a little bit of fight. So buckle up, sugar, it's gonna be a ride. Well, the mountain bears turn up the sound. If you ain't ready, better leave this town. We're big, bold, and breaking the mold. So grab a drink and let's let it unfold.
Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson Knight. Of course, I'm sitting down with the techie with the most, this Techy Joe. How are you, darling?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you this evening?
Pretty good. You know, we've been a little busy.
Yeah.
Redoing the office, the intros, the outros. What do you think of our new intro?
I'm liking it. I think it's a little misleading. I got to get a new headshot because that's like 8 years old, and it looks like I have way more hair than I do. I was just looking at it like, wow, I still had so much hair 8 years ago.
Yeah, before you met me.
Fair. I was gonna jump there, but I mean, it's fair.
It's fair. Well, you know, I've got to get new headshots too, but that'll be this summer. There's a lot of new things. Lovely. Brenda's liking the new intro. Very good. Very good.
Hey, Brenda.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yep. Redecorated the
In
office.
the background. Yeah.
Yes. Well, moved the office. You see, we rebuilt the back office because Gizmo needed a room and I needed an office. And then I finally finished this after 16 years of it being an open project. It's done.
Well, you were saying like there's more you could do, and then there are a couple of spots that you still need to work on, but
right.
Yeah, no, it's finally moved forward. So,
moving forward and feeling more like the room that I envisioned that my office would look like, and we're getting there. Oh, so many things. And of course, now it's summer, so I'm moving outside, as in I'm moving to outside projects. Yeah.
I mean, I think I'll go for boudoir, and then we can choose from that.
Okay.
Not glamour, boudoir.
Yeah, I think we can do both.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I have to see my stylist this week.
Brenda says, ooh.
But no, we need to get new headshots. We need to get new couple shots. Because I was going to do the couple shot in the intro. We have 3.
I know, right?
Yeah. And
I know at least one of them you will never use. Because you had quite a few drinks by that point.
Yeah. Like,
and
yeah.
That was some weight loss ago, and
yeah, that was a lot of weight loss ago. That was a lot of everything. But even like my office picture of the 3 of us, like,
again, so much has changed.
Yeah, they're like looking at it. Let's see if I can pop it off the wall because I think it's nailed. Ugh.
Let's leave it.
No, okay. It is not nailed.
It is not nailed. It is velcroed.
It is command stripped the fucking back.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but no, like, I want us to get a real photographer to do some real photos.
Yeah. Because that's one of those things, it's just really hard to I mean, you would think with everyone having cameras on their phone, we would have all gotten better at photos.
We have
not.
We have not.
We just have a whole lot of people with cameras in their pockets. Like, that's it. That's all there is. It's
Yeah.
just
And
that.
while I understand it might be complicated to do, I would like to get a whole den picture.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, that would be a little complicated to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that is some organization.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. It'll take some scheduling and some bribing and some threatening.
Why do I keep thinking that we know another photographer? Or we know a photographer. I'm not counting myself anymore. I've finally have accepted that I can do landscape and a lot of other things. I'm just not doing portraiture.
Does that mean I get to play with your camera?
Not what I said. Leave
Damn.
my camera alone.
Okay.
Don't touch it. Don't even look at it. Don't think about it.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Yeah, the only problem with being poly trying to coordinate everyone for a family picture.
Yeah. Threats, bribes, and demands.
Basically.
Yes.
But no, I'm trying to remember someone else is doing photography. Like portraiture. Like they're not in like the immediate spoke,
Okay.
but it's like one spoke out.
Okay. Well, we've got some time.
Like I remember thinking their stuff was really, really good. I just right now my brain is just struggling with who was that?
Right. But no.
And I'm gonna feel so dumb later when I realize who it is.
Great. Then you can get a session booked. That
Yes.
isn't June 23rd. We're busy June 23rd. But anyhow.
That's so random.
No, it isn't. I've got dates stored in my head because I haven't put them in on Bojo yet.
Yes. Yeah, that's gonna be a super busy day.
It is. And it's going to be a super busy week, actually. But, it is what it is. It's going to be great.
Yes.
Yes. But no, next will be the flower beds and the garden. Like, I'm reclaiming those. Because there was a couple years I didn't get to those. So they are a priority this year.
Yep.
Yep.
And maybe we can spend some time or figure out something for the patio that almost was.
You talking about the carport patio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's headed there too.
Yeah. Well, no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like we were doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like we really had the like yard in motion.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got blindsided by the road project that threw everything into chaos that entire summer.
Right.
And just like we were dealing with like water was out, power was out, gas was out. Some of it was planned and intentional. Some of it was oopsie. We can't figure out how to drill a post hole without busting a water main.
Yeah.
Not us.
Yeah, not us. Like, I know where my lines are.
Yeah. But no. It was just so many things went wrong. And then, like, we turned right around. We went through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And just, we were kind of, like, geared up for,
Mhm.
well, okay, I've got my neck surgery, and then we've got some other things going on. This will all be fine.
Right.
And then we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, well, we can't go anywhere to get shit right now.
Right.
To do anything.
Right.
And then it just kind of got lost in translation.
Well, and then I got really big. Like, the big thing is carving time out. And
Yeah, well, like you were really busy with stuff. We had a lot going on in general. And then 2023 was just the year that evaporated.
Right.
It's like New Year's. I don't know what happened in between.
Right.
And then 24 started out rough.
Right.
And like last summer, like God, we didn't even hardly get to go swim.
No.
Like it was just keep churning.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it was like Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh crap, we didn't even plan Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Thanksgiving.
and also like last year was a lot of sorting out diet and nutrition and where I could eat and what I could eat, and like it was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, but we've also been recently talking. So there was like that weird planetary alignment we had earlier this year,
Mhm.
and there was the end of something.
It was the end of the eclipse, and that was basically hitting every major point in my chart
Yeah,
for like 2 fucking years.
yeah, that was the one I was talking about. It was like a 2 to 3 year cycle or something.
Hmm.
That something, yeah. I'm sorry, I can't remember all of them. Like this was a really turmoily period that we've just come out of, is what I was getting at.
We have, and
Sorry, he took me for sushi before this. I'm struggling over here. Like, just doing a little digestion.
Yep. All right. So we actually have some news. So let's hop into that. Well, no, I want to talk something else. This was on the list for Psychic Coffee Shop, and it didn't make it there. So you get to talk about it now.
Oh, okay.
White Lotus, what's your experience?
Okay, so like if you haven't watched White Lotus yet, probably skip the next 5 to 10 minutes and work your way backwards to when we say we finished talking about White Lotus. Because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. This one was weird. This season was weird. I mean, like the previous 2 seasons seemed like they started slow and then like it was a long fuse to a big bang.
Mm-hmm.
This one was sort of the inverse. It's like the big bang to the slow fuse that just goes out.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what? I mean, like it started off with so many things going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of all pushed together and like, okay, we're done now.
Do you think that the writers just gave up?
No, I don't think it was that. I think they just did a twist.
Right.
Because I kept waiting for the end to be like the
right,
the big explosion of everything goes wrong. Not that there isn't a little bit of that going on.
Right.
But it wasn't like the sudden exposition of everything that we got in the first 2 seasons. The third season is now you already knew everything like basically.
Right.
Like all the big events happened within like the first 3 episodes.
Right.
And then by the time you get to the 7th one, it's just, or the 8th, I guess. 7th? I forget how many there were. But anyway, by the time you get to the last one, you're just kind of sitting there like, this is sort of the happily ever after.
Right.
For everything that's gone on, it's just kind of like, and we all get on the boat.
Right.
And, everyone's cool. Everyone that made it to the boat, by the way, spoiler alert, a couple people didn't. Not going to tell you. But for everyone that made it to the boat, they're technically leaving happily ever after. Now, I think that sets up season 4.
Right.
Because with the crossovers that they've had, which, by the way, the bridge from 2 to 3 was dicey.
Right.
1 to 2, you had a really strong crossover.
And
it's like, oh, yeah, no, cool. And then, but 2 to 3, it was kind of like, that's who we're, what?
Right.
Like, that's our crossovers? Like, okay, I'm all right. But I think 3 to a potential 4, if there is going to be a 4, I would assume there would be. It's a pretty successful series at this point, despite everyone's frustration and anger. I think there's a good setup for season 4, and now it's just kind of figuring out who we're going to follow for 4.
Right.
Because we have options.
Right.
And some storylines were left in places that, like, oh no, you could have a major, like, either season 4 is going to start really big and like narrow everyone down, like season 4 written by George R.R. Martin, or you have a lot of options for your crossovers,
right?
That can end up moving forward, because you essentially have 3 groups of people that made it off the island. And those groups all have really, like, we're now very invested storylines. So they can easily in any of them, all of them can transition. The problem is going to be, I don't know how much they can do.
Right.
If they try to bring more than 2 groups of people, like if they try to bring all 3, that's going to be a lot to try to cram into the short series that it is.
Right.
And like catch you up to date on like everything.
Right.
I think they're maxed at 2 groups can make it back for season 4.
Right.
But judgmentally, I'll say that at most it's going to be 1.
Right.
Because that tends to be that was the 1 to 2, 2 to 3 was like one group. Like the 2 to 3, it's not really a group. It wasn't a real strong crossover from 2 to 3, which was fine. It's not exactly necessary, but yeah, it was still a moment.
Right, but the bigger question I have, and the question in general with this, is why is it making the news as the incest season?
Oh, yeah. Well, and hold up a minute. I struggle to call this the incest season.
Okay.
Like, there was only 1? Who skipped season 2? Like, you want to talk about the incest season?
Right.
That was season 2 was kind of effed up.
Right.
Like, I find season 2's incestual relationship way more screwed up and more deserving of outrage.
Right.
Like, you want to blow up about an incest.
Right.
That's the one I would blow up about, is season 2, which you saw a lot more things happening in. Than like this whole brotherly storyline.
Right.
That's a little. I mean, I think season 3 blew up more because there were things dripping about the actors involved.
Right.
And like their struggle with doing the episodes in question. I think that was part of it.
Right.
Yeah. And it was kind of, again, it was like season 1 and 2 where they did the slow fuse to the big explosion, which was how those seasons run. Season 3, again, front loaded a lot more than, by the time you get to the end, you're just kind of like, oh.
Right.
But no, like, because you expect a lot of things are going to go a totally different way than they did in season 3. Like, and I was totally wrong. Like my call on, Victoria was wrong.
Okay.
She was up to nothing. She is just who she is. So that's my big spoiler. I was wrong. I was totally wrong. Unless season 4 goes on to prove me right.
Right.
I don't know. But so with season 3, we were hit like episode 1 with like a murky prelude to the incest scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of end up into it. I think it was like episode 3, episode 4.
Right.
And so yeah, and then the aftermath, yeah. And it was like, for what it was kind of the biggest thing in that, like those 2 episodes. Like that was
Right.
kind of the centerpiece. Because with every, like, you get the so to speak, the really big bang of what the end portion was. You get most of your mileage in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then, which is normal if you watch White Lotus, it usually gives you a preview of the end, and then it jumps backwards and tells you from like a week before. If you're not familiar with White Lotus, that's kind of its thing, is like the first 10-20 minutes are like what's going to happen towards the end, but you have no context for it.
Right.
And then you back up and you go all the way through to get all the context. And then right towards the end, it starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one, yeah, you got most of your bang in the first like 3-4 episodes. After that, it was really tame.
So they kind of snuffed it down.
Effectively, is it kind of like you really got most of your bang in the first few episodes.
Right.
You weren't really leading up to anything. You were just like pushed to the edge of a bunch of cliffs to be like, and then they lived happily ever after. What the fuck?
Right.
Like I was, because like after season 2, and like we didn't think that we were gonna lose who we lost. And I'm trying not to totally ruin it if you've watched none of White Lotus. But with who we ended up losing at the end of season 2, that we were all just like, no! Like, she was going to be our final girl. She was the final girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, nope, she did.
Now, is this the one I watched that has the hot dog girl in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Stifler's mom, a.k.a. Jennifer Rutledge, which we love. She's amazing. But yeah, like that was going to be our final girl. Like she final girled the first season, I think.
Right.
Well, that was who final girl. Anyway. And then she came into season 2 and we thought, okay, cool. We're just going to follow her around. And then it was like, no.
Right.
She's dead? Like, you killed her?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the general R for me. It was the like, oh, you killed Jennifer. Like, no. Well, you killed Tanya. But anyway,
Right.
Okay, so I just ruined season 2 if you didn't watch that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one expects it. I don't think you watch that and expect she's dead.
Right.
Nowhere through there till like the end of the last episode when it occurs.
Right.
Because you're thinking she's gonna make it. She's gonna make it. She's gonna make it. Like, right. And there's a brief moment there. You really think she's gonna get out alive.
Right.
And then she's dead. And it's like, I give up. Like, what? So yeah, if that was the season 2 ending reaction. Season 1 wasn't quite as strong. In terms of like, we weren't all sitting in that last episode like, we were all just kind of like, oh. Season 3 is just kind of like the, whose mom came home and said we need to turn this around real quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it kind of had that feeling like, and the Disney ending to that story is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like someone's mom came in, like you are not going to say that in front of the child.
Right.
And so everyone lived happily ever after.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they rode off into the sunset that is literally into season 3, and it's like, okay, except for the people who died. Which that one, like, yeah, there was a lot of things going on there. There was a lot of speculation, I will say,
Mm-hmm.
on a couple people,
Mm-hmm.
and who they were.
Ooh.
It turned out to be totally wrong. Like, and it was making, like, everyone's TikToks were about that.
See, I've seen none of them, of course, since TikTok got banned the first time. I've really not been there. I'm over on Clapper. Like, I'm loving Clapper.
I've slowly made my way back into TikTok. I'm doing it with that, like, I'm trying not to overinvest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because the first TikTok death, it was kind of like, ah.
Yeah.
And then it came back. And
Yeah.
so I actually originally planned not to, but then it's like, okay, I'll go over to TikTok and watch some things. And so I'm still kind of, yeah. Brenda's still on TikTok. Hey, Shannon. But yeah.
Well, what I like right now, and granted, this is from a business perspective, I'm liking Clapper because it pays me. Like, if I go
Nice.
live, it actually pays me cash.
Sweet. Loving that.
Yeah. So
Very
I might
cool.
go live over there whenever I get a moment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
So, but no, White Lotus, totally worth it. By the way, we have stopped talking and giving spoilers for White Lotus. If you were skipping ahead, we're done now.
Welcome back. Take your earplugs
Watch
out.
Yeah.
White Lotus is over with. All right.
Yeah.
So let's choose some news topics since there's 3 of them.
All right. Well, let's go in order. Because I feel like it progressively gets better. Or at least less weird.
Okay.
All right, so NBC News gives us UK's LGBTQ workers still feel pressured to be less gay, report says. Pride and Leadership survey of 1,000 LGBTQ professionals found 85% of respondents encountered career obstacles due to their identity. So, yeah, LGBTQ professionals in Britain still feel pressured to downplay their identity at work, with some challenging their appearance, voice, or behavior to avoid discrimination, or changing their appearance, voice, or behavior to avoid discrimination or to be taken seriously, a new report said on Thursday. Pride in Leadership, a network of LGBTQ business leaders, called for stronger rights protecting members of the community and urged companies to do more to stamp out homophobia and transphobia disguised as banter. The not-for-profit, which surveyed 1,000 LGBTQ professionals between June and November of last year, in its first such report, said 85% of respondents encountered career obstacles due to their identity. It found that 34% of respondents said their identity negatively affected their earlier education, with some still feeling like they have to be less gay after being encouraged to suppress their sexuality when they were younger. Over half said it influenced their career choices, prompting them to avoid certain sectors or roles due to fears of discrimination or lack of support. This research reflects what I've seen as a gay leader, Matt Hayworth, co-founder of Pride and Leadership, said. From homophobia in meetings to being invited on trade missions to a country where I could be sentenced to death just for being me, the playing field is far from level. Hayworth added, everyone deserves a fair chance to succeed, regardless of who they love or how they identify. Official data from the 2021 census showed that around 1.5 million people in England and Wales identified as gay, lesbian, bisexual, or another sexual orientation. I think the percentages might be a little lower in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
hope.
Yeah.
But I don't think the sentiment is any different.
I don't either.
Like I mean, there's certain sectors, yeah, like financial alone,
Mm-hmm.
and the number of people that I've known that one, it's not just their identity, but also their politics get tied into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that may be a missing component,
Of the
perhaps.
investigation, yeah.
Is also looking at like how people are really, how far are they going?
Right.
Not only in changing their, or quieting,
Mm-hmm.
their loudness,
Mm-hmm.
and in terms of like how out they are, but also like how much of this is kind of influencing the political causes or not
Right.
that they choose to interact with or not.
Right.
Because I know like financial sector alone, I've seen a lot of people that are get very conservative in terms of their tone,
Mm-hmm.
but also their politics. And it's kind of, ooh,
I think it depends
I
on the
don't know
company and the
where
type
I
of
go.
the company. I know when I was in corporate, the bigger problem was holding them together. And what I mean by that is the offshoots of meetings would go into so many different directions. And it's like, can we get back to how we're going to build this?
Okay.
Like they get diverged into their private lives and, how's the kids? How's the wife? I got a new cat. Can we get into the meeting?
Well, I mean, that's just meetings in general. Like
Yeah.
corporate is just a hot mess and has been for decades.
Yeah.
Like you want to talk about the place where no one wants to work anymore. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you really want to use those words, corporate. I'm sorry, I have never been in an executive meeting that I was like, this could not have, this could have totally been an email.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I just don't care that much
Right.
about the wife, the kids, the new car you got, the trip you just took, the third house you bought. The one, actually, you're just making me angry.
Mm-hmm.
But more to the point,
Right.
I like this is a 2-hour meeting and we're going to spend 15 minutes talking about a thing and then I'm going to have another meeting.
Yeah. To decide when you're going to have another meeting.
Well, not just necessarily that, but having to do a breakout,
Right.
to discuss that in depth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to, and it's like, okay, now we're going to take this hour meeting to do that. And like, we're going to utilize another 15 minutes to actually do the thing.
Right.
And burn 45 minutes talking about like ancillary garbage.
Right.
Maybe it's just me. I never like long meetings.
I don't either. I prefer a 15-minute meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Get in, get out. Like do social hour after 5, but at the same
Or as a podcast.
or a podcast. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like this is like this. If you just dumped a meeting into the middle of our podcast,
Mm-hmm.
corporate world,
Yeah.
corporate world, you are ready for corporate. Just take our podcast, dump a 15-minute meeting, not contiguous.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not a continuous block of time.
Right.
It is interspersed throughout this, but you dump a meeting into it.
Yeah.
That's corporate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so friggin' wasteful.
Right. The
And
other
then
thing is, I think that the generation coming up was raised that everybody needs, like, you need work besties, and now they have wifeys and husbands and all this, and I'm like,
Oh, no, that's not really as new. I think it started more Southern, though, I will say.
I think it did. And it's like, I get in, I do my work, leave me alone. I don't want to know what you done last Sunday, and don't bring me lunch.
Oh! No, get the work wifey. Totally worth it.
No, I don't
Totally
need a
worth
work
it.
wifey.
No, the work wifey's great.
Okay.
Well, sorry, Sherry was my work wifey.
Uh-huh.
Like, no, it's a great thing. Like, this whole work spouse thing.
Mm-hmm.
Totally down for it. Again, it started more Southern.
Right.
But, yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, no, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
If for no other reason than to have someone go, whoa, 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 before you quit. Let's go get there. We're going to O'Charlie's. There will be pie. Let's talk this through. Let's talk this through. Like, but no, I think it was a more Southern concept that just like exploded.
Right.
And yay for viral trends for making it a thing, because honestly, you cannot tell me that did not become a thing because of viral trend. It virally trended, and then suddenly everyone had a work wifey or a work hubby.
Yeah.
And there was like a whole process around that where people had to wrap their head around because for some people it was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
And that was mostly the outside of work spouse.
Mm-hmm.
This is, whoa, whoa. What in the harem?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do not agree to this. And it's like, no. This is a totally platonic thing. If you're having sex with your work spouse, you're doing it wrong.
Right. But at the same time, like, for me, and I may be, and granted, I'm an old bitch. Like, my work life and my home life didn't intermix. Like, I hate when, like, I hate invisible calling me when I am on the job site.
Yes, but if you have someone that fully understands the business, you do, one, alleviate the take-home conversation about, can you believe that fucking bitch?
Mm-hmm.
Because, that conversation has dropped a good chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Or can you believe that motherfucker? Let's go more non-gendered. Can you believe that motherfucker? Because that conversation goes down a fair bit.
Right.
And it quits being the take home.
Right.
So like because the problem has always been with that take home conversation.
Right.
Is if you fester that all the way through, like some shit goes down at like 9 a.m. and you have festered that shit since 9 o'clock this morning. And the first time you can open your mouth on it is 6 p.m. One, you are not prepared to have to explain the whole backstory.
Right.
To bring an outsider forward.
Right.
And then, like, by the time you get to that point, you're just so, like, I can't even. With, it just makes you so mad. But when you have the work spouse that you can be like, okay, we're going to lunch today.
Right.
All right, let's talk that through. Like you can start to process it and move on it.
Right.
Without having to like take it home to the spouse, do the 3-hour monologue. And be like, so exasperated by the end of it that you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
To a spouse that's probably going to be like, if you hate your job that much, just quit.
No,
and it's like, that is not constructive right here.
Exactly. like, yeah, you're going to get told you don't get to quit until you at least have 3 job offers, and one of them is at least twice the current pay. But anyhow.
Which can also be worse.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, you're trapped. Get over it. We have mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the last thing anyone wants to hear.
Yeah, I get to hear it all the time. But anyhow, like, I have never had a problem, and believe me, I've said in board meetings, I've met with CEOs, I get to do the whole 99 fucking yards. And my nails have been long, short, hair, down to my waist, up in a bun, whatever. The most I ever got was a CEO looked at me and goes, "What color is that?" And I wear, onyx black. And he goes, "Do you get them done?" And at that time, I was getting them done downstairs. And I'm like, "Yeah, downstairs. Wonderful person. Go see such and such." That's the most commentary I ever got. But also, I'm of that generation of like, if that's cute, try to tell me that again, and I'll come in here and fucking rainbow.
Well, yeah. Which, I mean, granted, you were a little more northern and in financial.
Yeah.
Versus, like, why someone counts debt collections as the financial sector. It so isn't.
It should be counted in grave dealing.
Like, I mean, it is financial, but, like...
Yeah.
We're not finance bros. Stop trying to act like finance bros. This is not... No.
Right.
No, it's a totally... But it's also the weirdest industry. Because, like... the people you deal with the most, like the minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour people that you are constantly dealing with, are not the fucking customer. There is no customer service for them. That's not what this is.
Right.
You are a debtor, and fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Right.
Like, that's the whole business model right there.
Right.
Off the top. The client... is this, other original creditor that you open an account with, supposedly, maybe, I don't know. Because, again, depending, like, we were dealing with, like, auto loan deficiency balances, medical debt, ambulance services, municipal services, cable services, like, so, good luck. Like, some of these were emergency medical, some of these were, non-emergency medical. Like, it was all over the map. But the client, the person that we actually cared about, that we might talk to a few times a year. Like, I only had one client I talked to on a literal month-to-month basis.
You should have just set an appointment with her. But even in the industry I'm in now, I get the opposite. Okay, it's like, can we gay you up some more?
Yeah. Look the part some more.
Yeah.
Be more. Do more. Be extra. Be extra. And it's like, every time they say that, I'm like, please don't tell him to be extra. He takes it as a personality challenge.
Well, true.
Like no!
Example, I'm, Purple Ocean, I'm going to be doing some video readings on. I have to go get my nails done. Or do my nails, one of the two. Like, this is what they want. Like, they want because I am such a Papa Bear, they're like, can you, like, do more?
Like, can you tone the Papa Bear down?
Right.
Like the bear part, basically.
Yeah.
Can you glam it up a little more? Like, can we get some Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence on you?
Good organization. I was actually, we're going to talk about her in June, but Sister Boom Boom, we're going to have to dig into her and some of her, like, fuck you behaviors.
Yeah, well, but no, anyway, so financial sector in the South becomes this weird, like, super Republican, super conservative, super over the top, like, it was the swamp
Mm.
of, like, politics.
Right.
And things going on, like, I will say that, like, comments that got made in that office,
Right.
it's like, do y'all just look at that poster in the break room and
Mhm.
stare at it and go, how many federal fucking laws
Can we break today?
can we break today?
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop.
Right.
Stop. I mean, well, and granted, that's that collections in general. I like, no one cares.
Right.
No one cares. I mean that dead seriously. Most of
Right.
y'all have no idea, none whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
what FDCPA is, let alone what
Mhm.
it means and what it includes. And because of that, literally, there's this riding dirty, and I mean that seriously, chameleonaire, riding dirty mentality about among debt collections.
Right.
That, if you don't know the law, we're certainly not going to follow
Right.
it. And mostly because getting sued for it is such a rare occurrence.
Right.
I mean, it happens, and it's an open and shut settlement. Like, I'm dead serious. We literally referred to you in the industry as
Right.
professional debtors,
Right.
people who intentionally sent their accounts to collections, just didn't pay
Right.
them, let them go, let everything they can go to collections,
Right.
and basically had a lawyer on retainer to go sue the fuck out of
Right.
whatever collection agency called, because your collections agent will break FDCPA every fucking time.
Right.
Every fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
They will literally, unless they are so new.
Right. But, what I'm basically getting at with those is, like, I've never had a company say, can you be less gay? Normally it's like, can you go gayer? Like, it took them a while that I don't do, well, that is Syrian blue in shade 232, and that is, like, wrong gay here. Did not get that gene.
Yeah, didn't get the gene. No, there was major pressure to like conform to absolute 100% stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
but it was also kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the one weird part I kept having was because I'm in my 20s.
Right.
Like, what started and ended this job in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the people I'm dealing with are CFOs for companies.
Mm-hmm. Who are
And
bad
I just kept,
crazy.
well, not all of them. Most of them were great. There were a couple that are like, woofda. Like, I just hope you're really good at your job because you personally are a hot mess.
Right.
And which is a challenge in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're like, most of these people I'm dealing with are CFOs in their 50s, generally speaking. That's your average CFO. And I just kept getting this moment, like, they would do client visits.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the bane of our existence because, dressing business professional on a normal day gets into full suit and tie for client visit. And it's like, really, why? Really, why?
Mm-hmm.
But okay, cool. We all did that. But then have these CFOs come through to do a tour, and they finally meet the voice, like, they see the person
Mm-hmm.
that they've been talking to for a year or two or months or whatever. And there was this constant, like, he's a baby.
Right.
Like, how young are you?
Right.
I'm in my 20s. They're like, you don't sound it on the phone. Like, you don't talk like someone in their 20s. And it's
Right.
like, no, I'm in a professional environment. And most of the time I talk to you, I'm
Right.
not dressed like this.
Right.
Like, I mean, some of my best phone calls with clients, I was in a like t-shirt on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, what do you need? Let's rock this out.
Right.
So I don't know. Businesses really try to my whole point. Businesses keep trying to really strongly hold on to this very conservative idea of what the workplace should look like.
Right.
Or at least they did then. I think they still are now, especially with all the push to go back to office.
Right.
And it's like, it's not exactly necessary.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to walk into a bank and walk up to my teller wearing some ratty ass t-shirt and cut off, jean shorts.
Mm-hmm.
I think, okay, that's probably over the top.
Right.
But I will also say that over the last 30 years of banking,
Right.
they're not dressing up like they used to.
Right.
But the performance has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember every single teller having full face makeup, like heavy duty. You aren't like full face makeup, full hair done, in the suit, with the heels.
Right.
And now a lot of those, like, it's a business blouse.
Right.
And a little thin, cardigan and pants.
Right.
Because I remember when, like, oh no, you would never, ever, ever see a teller in pants. God forbid. You must wear a skirt. You're in finance.
Right.
But and like kids, like they're comfortable. They're doing their job. They're working their butts off, and the service got better.
Right.
Like, start to understand, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one works well uncomfortable.
True. I will give you that, but at the same time on that, I will take a good pair of loafers any day. Of course, I'm weird.
Well, I mean, and again, loafers, depending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, they actually are really comfortable shoes, oddly. Which, it's not even oddly, it's that, like, we make some of the most torturous, like, clothing and accessories for women ever known to humankind.
Mm-hmm.
But if a man has to wear it, it's going to get real fucking comfortable real fucking quick.
See, I will trade you I like my loafers, but I always like a good heel on them. On the other side of that, I will take a pair of pumps any day.
Which, for some people, do work, and that's a different,
Right.
I think that's a little different. But a lot of the stuff that we do, like, again, going back to, like, gendered clothing, a lot of it ends up very torturous.
Right.
And, like, women just suck it up and deal. I don't know how. Other than you don't have another fucking choice, and this is what the world commanded you to wear, and you need the fucking money.
Right.
Is my assumption here. Like, if I'm wrong, please straighten me out on that. But then you turn around and it's like, for men's clothing and accessories, especially in business space, like, we just won't fucking buy it.
Right.
We, like, it just gets real comfortable real fast and real easy real fast. Or, no, we're going to do something, weird and different.
Right.
As well as there does seem to be, for men, a lot of at least minor acceptability in deviation.
Yeah.
There is a little more acceptability there, as long as you keep everything covered. God forbid you're visible from below the knee. Because again, that I will say, is the worst part of trying to work in the South. Is if you have to go in business casual, I'll tell you right now, there is no allowable shorts.
Right.
There's not a thing. That's not a thing. You're not doing business casual with shorts. And it's like, okay, but see, it's North Carolina in the summer at like 80% constant humidity and rising. It was 104 today. I nearly died on my way to the car. Like,
Yeah.
there are no pants thin enough to cover to so to speak breathe through that.
Right.
It's just, no, this is heat stroke waiting to happen. A lot of that has to do with humidity. North Carolina's humidity is the most oppressive thing about that state.
Right.
It is. It truthfully is. I don't know how else to say it. You're being oppressed by humidity.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. So let's take on the next one.
Oh my God, the title gets weirder. So, from Advocate, Tennessee far-right pastor fears gay beam airport scanner will make him queer. A Christian nationalist pastor in Tennessee revealed that he refuses to pass through gay beam airport scanners because he fears they will make him gay. Pastor Andrew Eisker, who appears not to realize his bare status within the LGBTQ plus community, made the claim on a recent episode of the Contra Mundum podcast he co-hosts with fellow Christian nationalist C.J. Engel. A clip of the podcast was posted to social media by investigative journalist Phil Williams. Quote, "Where was the Constitution when the Patriot Act was passed?" Eisker says to the podcast. Right? Give me a break. Like, I had to be molested at the airport to go to Florida, right? Just to get on an airplane, just because I'm not going to go through the gay beam machine. I didn't let CJ do it. I wouldn't let him do it. I said, you're getting patted down too, buddy. I don't want them turning you gay. But Eisker was not finished. It appears having a guy touch you all over the place is, on its face, seems worse, but you don't really know what those things are doing to you, Eisker continues, after he was momentarily rendered speechless by his own words. Or where the imaging goes, or what they're doing in the back room, Ingalls adds. Yeah, they can just take a picture of me naked, Eisker concludes. Like, no. A virtual hendiochrome system back there, Engel asks, referring to a right-wing conspiracy theory that claims leftist celebrities and politicians torture children to produce a chemical compound that is subsequently taken from the murdered children to prolong their own lives. Yeah, maybe, Eisker agrees. Oh, God. Is it the ivermectin? Like,
It is.
are we seeing ivermectin, like, delirium at this point?
It is.
Like, what is this? Like, no, this isn't even politics. This is like...
Well, it isn't politics, but I'm just laughing, going, if that's the case, honey, I got a list of men that need to take a trip.
What the hell? Yeah, it gets worse the more he talks, Brenda. I'm 100% there. Brenda says they will molest you at the airport. Does that cost extra? It doesn't cost extra, but I will suggest be careful what you wear.
Yeah.
Because it can happen at any time. You can walk right through the gay beam machine, as Eisker likes to call it. Because I don't think I'll ever be able to not call it that now. And I'm sorry, after the popularity of the "it's not gay if it's the TSA t-shirts," dude.
Yeah.
Dude. I do understand people's discomfort with the body scanner, the gay beam machine. And the fact that these are more detailed images than we were originally led to believe.
Yeah.
Like they tried really hard to keep telling us, no, it's not like a really good image. It's just good enough. We're protecting people's privacy. You kind of didn't. You kind of didn't. Like there's no privacy. There's right through the fig leaf with the imaging. Like there's no, no. You're very clear on what's going on.
Right.
And I do understand people's discomfort with that. I really, truthfully, honestly do. But at the same time, even with the TSA, and I know I just made the joke about the shirt, the pat down really is not meant, like, if your pat down feels sexual, that's either you and like your threshold is low, or that was an improper pat down. That wasn't a pat down. That was literally being molested at the airport.
Right.
But no, this should mostly be back of hand. They're mostly looking for anything you would have hidden or disguised on your body.
Right.
Like it's not supposed to be a lingering thing. It's like, okay.
Which every time I fly, I always get pulled for pat down. It's like, oh, this is cute. And that's as far as it goes. It's like cops do it better.
Well, again, your mileage varies, and what someone's looking for also varies greatly as well. You know, like what the police are looking for versus what TSA is looking for. Like TSA is mostly looking for you to have stuff strapped to your body. Like they are looking for any kind of explosives or cash, drugs, things of that nature. And typically in quantities that are not recreational.
Right. And I agree. I think he does have a TSA kink.
What, the Isker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus I think there's a lot of for the crowd that was all like, you know, whatever for safety, like go TSA, crowd to now be coming back and being like, oh, this sucks. Yeah, we tried to tell you. Like, it's also been a completely useless waste of time. Like, it was a shit ton of money. As far as I know, it's prevented, like, nothing.
Right.
Like, in terms of tragedy. Like, we have not prevented a tragedy with this system yet. And fails their own testing.
Right.
Like, they miss on an intentional test. Like, no one was at risk. It's an intentional test. They miss it.
Right.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
It's like, so what are we doing even becomes the question. So I will agree with you on that.
Right.
The gay beam machine.
You know, if that is actual, then I think that we need to, like, start pushing, like, Chris Evans, you know, Hugh Jackman to fly commercial more often.
Sorry, guys. You're really. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
But no, I really do struggle with the idea that the amount of thought that has gone into creating this fantasy. Hi. Like, come out wherever you are. Please get out of the closet. Just accept some things about yourself. And quit trying to destroy everyone like you so you have no options.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like stop, just stop. Because I'm sorry, I feel like you cannot get this far down a rabbit hole
Without finding it gerbil.
You know, that's just wrong on so many levels. I mean, I don't disagree with your Armageddon conclusion, but it's wrong on so many levels.
I know. When did you ever think I was right about on any of those levels? Anyhow, let's move over to some interesting news coming out of Colorado that just made their move rate move up 5 stars.
All right, so out gay Colorado Governor Jared Polis signs law repealing marriage equality ban. There's so many words. So marriage equality is officially the law of the land in Colorado after Democratic Governor Jared Polis signed a law repealing a provision in the state constitution that banned marriage between same-sex couples. Polis, an out gay man, signed SB 25-014 into law Monday. Also known as the Protecting the Freedom to Marry Act, the bill repeals the provision in Colorado statute that states that marriage is valid only if it is between a man and a woman, which has been unenforceable since the 2015 U.S. Supreme Court decision, Obergefell versus Hodges. Colorado is for everyone, no matter who you are or who you love. Last November, the voters got rid of outdated language in our Constitution that bans same-sex marriage, Polis said in a statement. This is a long overdue step in the right direction, and today's law I'm signing ensures that Coloradans can marry who they love in our Colorado for all. So Colorado voters approved an amendment to the state constitution in 2006 that stated only the union of one man or one woman could be considered a valid or recognized marriage. Voters later passed an amendment to overturn the ban in 2024 with 63% in favor. The new law ensures that even if the Supreme Court reverses Obergefell, marriage equality will still be legal in Colorado. Marriages between same-sex couples would still be recognized federally under the Respect for Marriage Act, which mandates that the federal government recognize same-sex and interracial marriages, and that all states recognize those performed in other states. However, the act does not require states to allow marriages between same-sex couples, allowing them to enact bans. Which has always been the confusing part. So basically, if you live in a state you can't get married in, but you go to a state that you can get married in, then you can get married, come back to the state you couldn't get married in, and they're legally required to recognize your marriage because it occurred in a state that you could do it.
Correct.
Jesus effing Christ, talk about making this more complicated than it ever needed to be. Can we all just agree?
Again, because marriage in itself is in the state's jurisdiction, but the federal government has to recognize it, and there's a co-sectional thing that requires them to recognize it bio-state. What I find...
Well, reciprocity.
Yeah.
Like, marriages in one state have to be recognized in another state. Because otherwise, that gets real confusing real quick. Because argumentatively, you could get married in one state, cross the state line, get married in that state, and you have not committed a crime.
Correct.
Except the federal government's going to have some questions.
Well, that's...
But on a state level,
right,
you only have one marriage per state.
Right.
So without the reciprocity and recognition, you would not have two marriages, and therefore the one is invalid.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's again the gymnastics that have occurred legally,
right,
to try to ban a legal right of marriage,
right,
Which I don't care what anyone's religion says.
Right.
Do what you want with your church.
Right.
Don't marry people. Don't literally don't marry anyone.
Right.
Or only marry the people you think should get married, and I really, really would strongly prefer that.
Mm-hmm.
In like, if we're gonna go all in on the church's opinion on marriage and being a sanctifying entity, I really think y'all got to do some more work, because y'all be marrying some people that are one man, one woman, and it's like, the hell you just did?
Well, see,
the hell you just did? Like, no.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, but see, the problem here, and Brenda, I'll review that. It's a video, so we'll have to watch it and dig it. But see, here's the problem: is they keep doing this government. See, government should be separate from religion. Any religion, government over here, religion over here. Marriage in itself is a dual process thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is
that can exist independently.
Yes. So with that, however, they keep applying the principles of religion to the federal government of marriageal contract, which that's what marriage is a contract of parties that gives them benefits, assets, and also, on the other hand, gives them responsibilities. If we remove the religious side of it, anybody could form a contract with anybody, and as many bodies as can hold up to the agreement of the contract. That, I think, is where we get into the delusional problem.
Well, and the funny part is, both have the same malfunction and have had for many, many, many years. Because then you turn around on the marriage rite, R-I-T-E, as in a church or religious organization sanctified event.
Right.
Mormons have been, well, let me be very specific. A very specific sect of the LDS Church of the Mormons has long had contention with the fact that their religious right has not and still isn't recognized as a legal right.
Right.
And those marriages have been occurring in that specific branch within the church for many, many, many years.
Oh, at least since 18 something another. But then we also have like the Islamic faith. There are a few sects there that have polyamorous marriages that are existing in the United States. The second, or whoever's the legal wife, is the one that gets all the benefits. Like there's bad contract negotiations going on within that sect.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that on the legal side of it, the only devil's advocate argument I can make is that becomes a very complicated multi-party contract.
Yeah.
So trying to issue a divorce when X number of people are married to either each other, to the same person, that's not going to be your average run-of-the-mill divorce trial.
But we do it already in corporate law. The number of companies that have multiple partners in it, and one partner wants out, one partner wants in, however that's constructed within your corporate bylaws, can be translated to civil law.
It can, but here's the and again, I'm just playing devil advocate for the state. You're going to end up with a divorce that could easily run into hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to untangle these people. And that's just on an ordinary run-of-the-mill baseline family. Right. Like, we're not talking about multimillionaires trying to separate assets. We're literally just talking about a several $100,000 divorce
Right.
for like, sorry to be rude, but like bunch of 20-year-olds in a trailer park.
Right.
Just trying to pull everything apart without blowing everything up.
Right. But that's where, that should have been covered in a prenup. One, I think prenup should be part of legal, lawful marriage you should be required to have.
Fair enough. Or at least some recognition within state law that I would not be opposed to state law. Like, if we're gonna fuck around and find out with marriage, I would really appreciate if we, for those couples who forego their own prenup, are given some clear cut, like, statutory prenup items.
Right.
I'm sorry, 6 months of marriage and 30 years of marriage are two totally different things.
Right.
Getting married in a chapel in Vegas drive-through and, a 30-year marriage are very different things.
Right.
And the protection of assets.
Right.
I mean, and I'm not throwing off. If you make it to 30 years and you got married at the little chapel of love by an Elvis impersonator, that's awesome for you.
Right.
I think that's great. My problem isn't with that. I'm just talking about this kind of, and that was a planned decision that you made that was part of a total, But if you can accidentally do it in Vegas while you're drunk, that really doesn't have the same weight to me, 6 months later, as, a long-term marriage and the assets and the compromises that have gone into that whole long relationship.
Right. Well, if they put in the same construction and the same framework as they do around divorce law, as they do marriage law, I think the divorce rate in this country would drop drastically.
And I think if you want to fuck around with marriage and talk about families and all the benefits marriage are supposed to have, can we stop penalizing people with disabilities for getting married?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about things that are leading to divorce? Do you know how many couples have had to literally divorce to save their assets?
Yeah.
Because one partner in that relationship is in a medical disaster and it will destroy them if they remain married.
Yeah.
Like that is the most, like, I don't get how we got here or how any of this is supposed to be supporting families. Like, you want to be a traditional values, family, conservative person. I'm not even going to call out Republicans. If you just want to be a conservative family values person, tell me how in the, or worse, part of your vows, the state makes you choose divorce, supports any of that mindset. Just explain it to me with crayons.
Yeah.
Because I don't see it. I do not see pushing people that are already on the or worse part of their for better or worse to the point in which they are forced to separate.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is super stupid. And it should not be occurring. Of course, there's so many other things going on within marriage.
Granted, we could totally skip that whole conversation if we just had universal health care. But, again, I'm just making it simple for conservative people.
Right. All right, let's take a break, shall we? And then when we come back, we'll find out if Joe's an asshole.
All right.
Love diving into metaphysical topics, psychic insights, and lively discussions? Now you can help keep the conversation going. By becoming a Patreon supporter of The Psychic Coffee Shop, you'll gain access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and special perks just for our patrons. Join our community and ensure that your favorite psychic show continues to thrive. Your support helps us bring more enlightening episodes, special guests, and deep dives into the world of the unseen. Become a patron today and enjoy a cup of wisdom with us every week. Click the link to join the baristas and unlock exclusive content. Thank you for your support.
Unlock your full potential with Aeson Knight's life coaching. Are you ready to take control of your life and manifest the future you deserve? Aeson Knight, a seasoned life coach and master psychic, is here to guide you on a transformative journey. Whether you're navigating personal challenges, career transitions, or seeking spiritual growth, Aeson's life coaching services offer tailored guidance to help you achieve your goals. With Aeson by your side, you'll discover the tools to overcome obstacles, embrace your true self, and create a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. His unique blend of spiritual insight and practical coaching empowers you to turn your dreams into reality. Ready to make a change? Book your session today and start your journey to a more empowered, balanced, and joyful life with Aeson Knight. Click the link to schedule your first session and step into your power.
Are you ready for an electrifying podcast experience that keeps you coming back for more? Join Aeson Knight every week as he takes you on a journey through captivating shows, each exploring unique and fascinating topics. And here's the best part. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode where you can get your burning questions answered live on air, absolutely free. Whether it's relationship advice, career guidance, or mystical insights, Aeson's podcasts have got you covered. When you subscribe, you become part of a vibrant community, engaging directly with Aeson as he shares his wisdom and leaves you feeling empowered and enlightened. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation. What you'll get by subscribing: Monday 5 p.m. Metaphysics. Today, soulful conversations with Aeson Knight and Firefly, exploring the essence of metaphysics in today's world. Tuesday 8 p.m. The Psychic Coffee Shop. Dive into current events with a psychic twist, featuring special guests and thought-provoking discussions. Friday 9 p.m. The Mountain Bears Podcast. Lively discussions from a gayish, techy-ish, bearish perspective with Aeson and Joe. Sunday 5 p.m. Psychic That Plans. Get a weekly tarot energy overview and time management tips from Aeson Knight. Click here to subscribe now and never miss an episode. By subscribing, you're not just tuning in, you're joining a community of curious minds and ensuring you're always in the loop with Aeson's insightful and interactive shows. Don't wait. Hit that subscribe button and get ready for an amazing podcast journey.
Ready for an enchanting journey of self-discovery? Join Lord Aeson Knight in our Wicca courses. Unveil the secrets of Wicca. Explore deity relationships, rituals, and more. As a third-degree high priest, Aeson Knight guides you toward empowerment and enlightenment. Enroll today and take your first step into the magical circle. Click the link to begin your journey.
Psychic Saturday. Get 50% off with Aeson Knight every third Saturday of the month. Don't miss out. Book now.
All right, welcome back. Oh, there's so much going on. All right, let's find out if you're the asshole.
All right, am I the asshole for reading a book about BDSM on a plane? Throwaway. The book is a psychology-focused look at BDSM. Lady I was sitting next to gave me an ugly look and told me I shouldn't be reading that stuff in public. Asked her what she meant, and she clarified that she meant sexual material. I told her it was a psychology book, not erotica, and that even if it was, she should mind her own business. The cover is mostly black, but there's a man in a suit and a lady's leg with a high heel on the cover. However, the cover overall is designed to be so dark that I have a hard time even seeing those images on the cover when I'm holding it up in front of my face. It's very subtle. The cover has the subtitle, Understanding BDSM Sexuality in Communities. I feel as though I'm allowed to read whatever material I want on a plane especially so because the intention of this book isn't to turn anyone on. Like I said, it's a psychological study. It's not like I was breathing heavily and masturbating next to her. But maybe I'm wrong. Am I the asshole?
No.
Here's where I struggle, because legally, technically, you can pretty much read whatever you want. I do take issue with the fact that OP is taking it next level, in which the behavior would be far more of a problem than the reading material.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't matter what you're reading if that's the behavior.
Right.
Because that would fundamentally be the issue. But because there are some considerations that one should have about your reading material in public.
Right.
And even if it's legal, is it really appropriate? I don't think this book rises anywhere near that. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I just want to be careful before I say you're not the asshole for reading a book about BDSM, a psychological study, on a plane. I think if you were in the encapsulated environment, watching pornography, a heavily illustrated book, with tons of images in detail, I think you would be the asshole. But to just read a psychological study that is mostly going to be charts and graphs and data sets and that kind of material, no. Like, why? I'm more to the point just struggling with, like, the fact that that your fellow passenger was just kind of looking at the title, I'm assuming, and making a leap that, like, you're reading pornography, which was none of her business to begin with. Like, I'm there with you. Otherwise, like, there's something missing here.
Right.
Because one, I mean, that's some entitlement to just tell someone you shouldn't read that. Like, hi, you shouldn't tell people what to read.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want from me? So I mean,
read the
not the asshole.
Cover again. Read the description of the cover again.
The cover is mostly black, but there's a man in a suit and a lady's leg with a high heel on the cover. However, the cover overall is designed to be so dark that I have a hard time even seeing those images on the cover when I'm holding it up in front of my face. It's very subtle. The cover has the subtitle, Understanding BDSM, Sexuality, and Communities. I think Brenda and I are kind of on the same page. If you're not, displaying obscene material to a minor. I mean, if your direct passenger is, a small child, I could see having maybe a little ick. And like that being a triggering, like you see the words BDSM and sexuality and blah, 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 blah. Maybe a passenger would have some ick, and I could maybe see that being like, really? Like, you're sitting next to a child. Like, what the fuck, man?
Well, but
even still, it's kind of like, what are you actually reading?
Right.
Like, how inappropriate is it for you to be sitting next to this child?
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're having to jump out on a ledge,
Yeah.
you know, to even get to a point where it's like, I could maybe understand the passenger's ick, you know, as a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, that's going some lengths to even begin to be like, okay, I can understand some ick. Like, but yes, so also a smutty romance would have worse passages than a psychology-based book. Hell, granny porn has worse passages.
Right. And see, that's my question. If, you know, like they carry around granny porn, and some of the granny porn, they've gotten.
I mean, it may only be one passage, but it goes steamy sometimes.
Well, the covers alone go steamy.
Some of them do. Now that's full on like literotica, romance novels. Like the romance novels go places.
Daniel,
and those are
Hill,
freely, like,
yeah.
Well, no, they're not freely available, but they
Right.
are publicly visible in every single airport shop.
Right.
Like, you can pick up a trashy romance. So Brenda says, I got something said to me a few times when I was reading 50 Shades of Grey at work on break outside at work. Okay, so what, can I ask what the comments were? Like how were those going? Like, were they, you shouldn't be reading that here, you shouldn't be reading that at all, or was it like a combination of the two, something else, something, like where was that, where was the person's state of mind? Because ultimately you can technically consume whatever you want to, as long as you're not behaving in a like lewd way, or in a disorderly conduct way while you're doing it. And generally, as long as you avoid the like obscene display to a minor,
Right.
because that'll get you in trouble. Like, you know, holding up Playboy, reading an article with the naked person on the, you know, folded over page. Yeah, that's gonna push the limits of a lot of people.
Right.
Regardless, like children present or not, that's gonna start moving into the, oh my god, it's obscene material.
Right.
Both. So Brenda says both, LOL, and one gasp with the pearl clutching. You already have to know what the book's about. Otherwise, what the hell do you know about 50 Shades of Grey?
Well, what Oprah
It
said.
sounds like a really boring book.
Yeah.
Title alone, 50 Shades of Grey. Most people, if you don't already know what that book is about, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're dealing with the cover, which I don't even think that was all that racy. I thought it was pretty much a minimalist cover.
Yeah.
At least originally, it may have gotten the porno treatment. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's a pretty boring cover. Even the original is pretty, like, yeah, that's yeah, man. Yeah, like, oh, okay. Like, exactly. It's, well, I think the original was even less provocative.
Yeah.
And like the book set even, like, because these look like newer covers, like it got recovered. That looks like it's gone through a few covers actually, or has a few different releases with different covers. But yeah, nothing's really. It's like necktie, face mask, handcuffs.
Yeah. Well, and now it's a trilogy that's quite cute.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, and then there's a collection version that just has like this pale gray. Oh well, that's a DVD. Sorry. I mean, like if you were watching without headphones, the DVD, yeah, that might get you a little.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been people like that. That is an internet trend. Well, see, but Brenda, they weren't that bad. Read it aloud. Read it aloud.
Mm-hmm.
See if you can get yourself uncomfortable in public reading it aloud, because that's actually been a trend. People playing it on their car stereo with the windows down, volume turned up,
Right.
and like people start looking over at you like, is that what I? One, it's usually the same look. Like, is that what I think it is?
Yes.
Because they already know. They already know.
Right.
Like, and there's been a few trends around that, like reading it in Muppet voices makes it sound even more bad. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, there's things like that. Now, is the actual content to someone into the genre all that woo? Not
Right.
really. Not really. But if you were totally out of that genre and this is completely out of your like interest wheelhouse, yeah, that's gonna be uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, yeah, no, that's gonna be uncomfortable. So yeah. Brenda says, Aeson, remember that Joe just told me to do that? Okay, cool.
Noted.
Noted. But no, I like that would get you a little maybe now's not the time or the place. And I think perhaps that could be fair.
Right.
Again, I don't think it's horrible. I haven't read the books, but like in hearing excerpts from it,
Mm-hmm.
no, it really it seems
those books are very tame.
for the genre. Yeah, it's pretty tame. But if the highest you go is like the Amish like
Rebecca.
granny porn level,
Yeah, Rebecca.
okay, that's a little intense. Like that's a lot of intense.
Oh, please. Go read
compared
Psychop and come back and tell me that Rebecca's intense. Or 50
Hold
Shades
on,
of
hold on.
Grey is intense.
Well, Psychop is one like that's not the Amish porn genre. No, it really isn't. No, it really isn't. It really isn't.
You know, that would be an interesting book.
Psychop Amish porn. You know there's a fanfic. Someone's turned it into a fanfic.
That would be interesting, but no, like
Was
someone
it
takes
Shannon?
the idea
Is
of
it Shannon?
Rebecca.
Was it Shannon?
Shannon, you might want to get your pen and paper.
We'll give you $1 million ideas right here. But no, but even with the Amish, like, and what I'm talking about are these very, you could honestly put them under young adult,
Mm-hmm.
but they're an offshoot of romance novels, and they're all very tame. The covers are just they're dress alike to period, so to speak, photos of they're very benign. They're totally readable in public. Hell, you could read them out loud to children.
Right.
You occasionally get a paragraph that's a little bit more than you might be comfortable saying in front of a child.
Okay.
But even at that, it's like the child hearing it isn't going to necessarily understand. But most of those are really,
Right.
I mean, they're really tame. It's a lot of build up to get to that one passage. And it's usually like this ongoing, like, he brought me hay and he was so kind during the, like, I've fallen asleep because my grandmother went through a phase. I have fallen asleep to so many of those because they drag on and on. And just they take forever. All to get to like one paragraph that's like, and you know, he roughly grabbed her, and that's
Right.
basically it. You know.
I just discovered a genre that I'm going to have to now go check out.
Oh, what?
Gay,
Because you're gonna do it on audiobooks, so you better warn me.
yes, gay Amish romance.
Oh God, there's gay Amish romance.
Yeah.
Oh. Why? Why? Can I not interest you in Last of the Wine?
I've read it.
Oh.
Yes, Brenda.
Yeah, so the oldest ladies at work were cool with it and laughed at the ones that were shocked. Did some of y'all not know your mamas were reading some trash? Like your grandmas were reading some trash?
In their movies, let's remind everyone. Mama
Like,
and
there
Minnie
ain't a
were
damn
reading
book with
trash.
Fabio on the cover
Uh-huh.
that is meant to be read with both hands.
Yeah.
I'll just say that out loud. There is no book with Fabio on the cover that is meant to be read with both hands.
Fabio's kind of okay. Not my favorite cover model.
No, but a very prolific model in the 90s for this genre.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you got male nipple on the cover, rippling abs, flowy hair.
Uh-huh.
There's, yes. I mean, it's not gonna be like your dad's porno collection. Like, it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not gonna be all that different.
Right.
It's just gonna have a little more storyline.
Right.
Like, because moms are overcoming a lot. Okay?
Yep.
Like,
Right.
they're having to get past a lot of things to
Mhm.
be able to get there.
Yes. All right, so let's pop over to Ask Gay Bros Over 30 while the poll is up.
All right. So I encouraged my friend and ex to still be friends, but now it feels weird. So the flare on this is 35 to 39. When I broke up with my ex, I was actually the one who encouraged both my friend and ex to still stay in touch and be friends because I felt bad that my ex wasn't doing so well, and I still care for him.
Probably.
But I didn't expect her to hang out with him that often, almost every other week, when me and her have never really hung out that regularly before for the past 7 years. Seeing her like that feels a bit bittersweet. I feel kind of betrayed, left out, and a bit disappointed. I know I was the one who told them to do so, but I guess I didn't expect that she would stay that close to him, to stay that closer to him than me. I'm not sure how to take this.
Fire both of them and stop encouraging your friends to go with the ex. How hard is this? One, she's not your friend. Y'all guys barely hang out in 7 years, and now she's hanging out with your ex every other freaking weekend. No, you guys were Facebook friends. Call it as it is. Get it over with.
Well, hold on. One, I feel like there's a lot of missing information on this one. Like, how long were you and your ex together? The
7.
same 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years? Like, when did this friend come in?
Right.
One. two, I've never really been a big fan of that, like, custody battle breakup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand it, and I let whoever goes wherever to, like, that's your choice.
Right.
And there's some people that it's like, yeah, I don't really expect it. I don't think you're going to hold animosity towards me, but I get it. You were their friend, not mine.
Right.
I get it. But like when you have mutual friends, it sounds like you regret not having the custody battle because you're feeling like she likes him more than you.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Like the whole reason it sounds like
Mm-hmm.
you wanted them to remain friends is because you felt like your ex was alone.
Right.
And struggling if you were to take the friend or you mutually lost the friend.
Right.
But then either you're not feeling really comfortable that your ex is still relying on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how long have you broke up?
Right.
Like weeks, months, years? Like, I'm sorry, it depending upon, and then that gets in the whole, like, what was the breakup?
Right.
Like, were you cheating? Was your ex cheating? Did you leave like, every breakup has a reason, like, and some of them are more boring than others. Like, we grew apart, we were going after different things, we didn't really share the same values. Like, there's a lot of reasons to break up. Some of them are more explosive than others.
Right.
And some of them are related to mental health.
Right.
Meanwhile, back to, I felt bad that my ex wasn't doing so well, and I still care for him. Okay. So it sounds like there's a possibility there, either the breakup caused some intense, grief,
Mm-hmm.
or there was a pre-existing, like, mental health issue, substance abuse, something going on there, or shitty life syndrome. They had just, everything went wrong at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, you're really struggling with the idea that, like, these two people are hanging out. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But how is that betrayal? And yeah, you're left out. You fucking broke up.
Mm-hmm.
And you like, sometimes friends have to take care of other friends more than you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like you're okay with the breakup and you've moved on. Except for the part of you that wants to have this weird custody battle now over the friend who's just not as friendly to you. Like, I don't know, maybe your friend's busy with your ex?
Right.
Like, what did you expect?
Well, not only that, but again, I don't think that their friend is your friend.
That's could be very valid. Is that, like, you thought you had a say in this?
Yeah. You don't.
So again, I'm not really down with the whole, like, breakup and custody battle animosity thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I personally, I find that ridiculous. That's the ultimatum I don't typically put up with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That, like, well, we broke up, so you have to choose. Great. Then I'm like, if you're the one that says that, I'll tell you who I'm going to be friends with, and it's
Right.
not you.
Right.
But I can at least be respectful
Mm-hmm.
of the fact that y'all broke up,
Mm-hmm.
and do the mental gymnastics that, I have to choose in, like, either one of you can be here or neither of you can be here, but both of you cannot be in the same room.
Right.
Like, I can accept that.
Right.
though generally most people aren't that close a friend. Like, I'm sorry, that's rude, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that really hasn't been, either they're not that close to me or they're not that close to my ex
Right.
to start with. So it's almost like you lost custody of the friend you thought you had custody of in the first place. And now, more so than the relationship breakup, you're having more problems finding out that friend was less of your friend to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of either could have walked away with that friend, or you never really understood that wasn't the situation.
Right.
So now you're upset. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to word it
Right.
so that, like, it's logical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what I'm having a problem with. And I think maybe you've got the best take on it, is this isn't your friend.
Right.
Like, move on, dude.
Yeah.
It just... not
It
your friend.
isn't your friend. Point blank.
This is a Dorito friend.
Yeah.
Not your friend.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Let's go check that poll.
Yes.
Mm.
Am I the asshole for reading a book about BDSM on a plane?
No, you're not.
All right.
All right.
Across the board? Like, we don't have a dill pickle? Or
No deal pickle. Just flat
No.
out no.
Brenda, did you forget to vote? Better yet, did the cat forget to vote?
The cat always votes good.
The cat always votes dill pickle.
Right.
Like, I think the cat is trying to declare its personal preference for their name.
Uh-huh.
My name is Dill Pickle.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're calling me anything else. My name is Dill Pickle.
Yeah.
Brenda reads smut. That's why Brenda didn't vote Dill Pickle.
Yeah.
Does the cat also read smut?
Yes, kitty porn.
Kitty before anyone shuts us down.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. So I do want to kind of talk to our Spotify users and listeners for a moment. You will notice that there is now a subscription on your thing that gives you access to a lot of archive files. That's the only way you're going to get the archives on Spotify. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to go back and listen all the way back to 2016 when we joined Spotify, you can do so under the subscription plan. There's over 737 episodes there of Coffee Shop, Conversation with Aeson, Moments of the Divine. Like, we've done a lot over the 2 decades I've been podcasting.
Yeah, so Tiffany wasn't near the phone to vote Dill Pickle, which Tiffany apparently wants to be called Dill Pickle.
Aeson's cat, Tiffany, a.k.a. Satan's, reject is the one that types. Yes. My cats normally type.
The emphasis on the word Satan's reject.
I'm going to name one of my Chimera that. Thank you very much.
That seems wrong on multiple levels, considering that you actually named one of your chimeras Satan.
Yes, I fight with Satan. A lot of times when I go, he's my wild fighter. He had to retire from the lines, but he's my wild fighter, and his name is Satan.
Yes, by the way, chimeras are a thing in Second Life. This is not.
Yeah.
Anywho.
What?
We run a channel. It talks about occult and metaphysical, and some people are going to get confused. I just want to fill in the potholes.
I don't know.
As I
We
see them.
might, because I'm going to be setting up OBS. We might have to take a Chimera tour video.
Ooh, toward the chimera.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's kind of been an idea we've been playing with. I'm going to let the baristas decide if they want to see Chimera content.
Yes.
All right.
I will let
preview
you
of-
play with OBS.
Huh?
I will let you play with OBS.
As soon as my assistant gets back, he's going to set it up for me.
Okay, cool deal. Cool deal.
All right. So, video or this may be coffee shop content coming up. You're going to see me review some more tarot decks. I picked up 2 today. We've got the Celestial Tarot cards and the Kiwi Tarot. This is the new I Forgot My Deck tarot cards for tarot class.
Oh, I still hate you didn't get the baby one.
I did not get the baby one. Like,
Oh,
that-
it was adorable though.
It was
It
a
had this hard
postage stamp.
plastic case. Yeah, it was postage stamp size. It had a hard plastic case and a little keychain. It was so adorable.
Yeah, but then you know what's going to happen. I'm going to go to dinner and have to do a reading because I have a little tiny deck.
I'm not fixing that pothole.
Deck. D-E-C-K.
Good job.
I'm on air. You know what you'd get.
Decked. And that has multiple meanings in this household. It could be a punch. It could be worse, hit with every single tarot deck he owns.
Which I'm
Right.
getting a collection. I really am. We're going to have to clean that out soon. But anyhow.
I know, right?
But no, these are we. I don't know. Do you want a video or do you want me to do it on air?
Brenda, not now. She sent me a thing earlier today. It was fun. We're not doing that joke on air.
Oh, both. Okay.
Ooh, she wants both.
Okay, so I'll do a review and then they'll get used on air.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So with that, guys, we do want to talk and thank our Patreons. Yes, there we go.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Bella. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes, and we will see you on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Come mountain bears, turn up the sound. If you ain't ready, better leave this town. We're big, bold, and breaking the mold. So grab a drink and let's